Good morning, everyone. My name is Marty Hicks. My website is helloextraordinarylife.com. I am a relationship coach. I coach one-on-one, and I also do mentor coaching in a group. It's not really coaching in the group. I'm actually more mentoring in the group. And I have a 6-week course that's coming up beginning September 30th at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 8 to 9, so it's an hour every week. And in between, I have a workbook for you that you get to fill out so that you can go a little deeper into what we went over on the call. Excuse me. And there'll be a break in the middle because I'll be in Modesto that particular week. So it'll actually go 7 weeks this time, from September 30th to November the 11th. So you can check that out on the flyer, or you can private message me if you want more information or want to find out how to pay for it. Let me know that too. Today, I found something on Facebook. Often I get my inspiration from there. From, I don't know how to say his name, Thich-Nhat-Hanh. Is that how you say it? Anyway.
Sounds good.
He says, people have a hard time letting go of their suffering. Out of fear of the unknown, they prefer suffering that is familiar. And I thought, no kidding. How long do we stay in situations and choose things that are not good for us? And we know it's not. We know it's not good for us, and yet we stay in it because it's comfortable and it's familiar. We know that place. It feels easier to be in that place than to do something different where I don't know the outcome. And I wrote the other day, I'm like, I got nothing today. When I was writing, I usually come up with something. My coach tells me, just start writing, and something will come out of that. And when I was writing, I thought, there's nothing going on in my world that's drama or any big emotional turmoil that I'm dealing with or going through. And I still find that at times a little bit uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar and because I keep raising the set point of what I'm willing to have in my world. And I was told one time that as deeply as I was angry, fearful, and grieving, whatever those kind of feelings were, I can also experience that depth of the love and the joy and the freedom and desire and all those other side of it, which terrified me. It was unknown and it was unfamiliar, and I had not ever really known how to experience that. The love that I received as a kid was very, very conditional. And growing up in that hypercritical home, I knew how to do that. And I know how to be angry, and I know how to stuff it, and I know how to people please. Stepping out of that is uncomfortable and unfamiliar. How do we make that change? We were talking about discipline earlier, and that just plugged into that word. I thought that's one of the ways we begin to make that change to ourselves, by going inside of ourselves, by looking around inside of ourselves, shining a light. We talk about shining the flashlight on it while the other person digs. Sometimes we need that help. It's about being willing to be uncomfortable, being willing to look and to feel and to choose something different. I've been working with a couple of women who get really negative, and they're in that place of self-loathing and not just their negative self-talk. And we're so used to that and conditioned in that, we often don't even hear it. We're not even aware of it. I'm not even aware that that's how we're speaking about ourselves, about life. Because what I'm saying about you or them or out there, you can be certain I'm saying it about me on the inside. Whatever I'm projecting, I'm saying about me. So I'm paying attention to these two and listening to them and reining them back in to help them have some discipline and give them some new tools. How do you now choose something new? Not very simple. It feels like it should be easy, but it's not. It's simple, but it's not easy. That's the way I want to say that. And then we talk about that in the program. Sometimes we just have to do it. Sometimes the pain has to be big enough to drive us. to be willing to jump and free fall and step out into that unknown. Sometimes we just have to choose and be willing to implement the discipline, just like going to the gym. We're stretching our emotional consciousness muscle. We're choosing to manage our emotions instead of being managed or controlled by them. I was thinking on the way here, this traffic driving here, and people and their quick decisions and their unsafe decisions, and the traffic coming suddenly to a stop, and then all of a sudden it's going again, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I do this once a month. I make this drive, and it's very similar each time, and I react every single time just about the same way. I don't respond and go, okay, well, there's something going on up there. I have this reaction like, really? You're that stupid? Like, are you kidding me? You just cut me off? I could choose different. It would make me feel a whole lot better. But what I recognize is it's the same with our emotions. The traffic, the way the traffic flows, and then suddenly comes congested to a bottleneck, and then it starts flowing again. I went, oh, there's my little analogy of this is how our emotions flow. And when we get overloaded and overwhelmed and in our same ruts or same patterns, we get congested. We get congested on the inside. We get sick. We get cold. Because we have too much stuff going on that there's no outlet for, or we don't know how to do different. Or we're just in a situation that's overwhelming. I did a grief course when my dad died last year, and one of the things that the facilitator repeated each time I would go was that grief will always take you to the negative, to that place of feeling depressed or it's obviously sad. But it will always take you to the negative. And then I've heard another friend of mine who's a scientist say, our brain operates in the negative. And I think, is that really true? I could see grief taking me to the negative if I'm not having an outlet to express that and having the discipline to feel it. I don't know. I don't know if that's really true. I'd have to do some more research. But I do know as human nature, we tend to go negative, especially if that's in our environment. It seems to be the default. We just go there, and it's easy to go there unless we choose something else. How do we choose something else when we're in the midst of it? In a bad marriage or in a situation where you're caretaking, someone's dying. Or you're just surrounded with the culture. If you look at our culture and if you watch the news, our media stuff goes negative. There's lots of things I can look for the positive. Here's my shift. I can look for the things that are positive and good. Find the things I'm grateful for, and not only what I'm grateful for, but why. If you ever do a gratitude list, that was something that helped me actually commit to the gratitude, writing them. More than the what, but why. Why am I grateful for that? Because it dropped me out of my head into my heart. It really worked for me. Finding the things that are good about a person. If you're in a situation where, like, one person, her and her husband fight all the time. I said, one of you have to stop. And because you're aware of it, you're the one. It's your choice. Or you can choose to keep fighting with them, but you want a different choice because that's what she has said. So find the things that are good instead of always picking out the thing you did wrong. He took out the trash, but he didn't dump it in the liner. He threw the garbage in the garbage without the liner. And she's mad about it. I'm like, why? He thinks he's doing something good. And you're just bitching about the fact that he didn't dump it out in the liner. If we will acknowledge and look for the positive and speak the positive to people, often, not always, but often It changes the whole energy of the environment, and they come with me. And they start shifting with me. That's not always true, but more often than not, I have found that to happen. And it still all comes back to that discipline of making a choice and having willingness. Hello?
Nancy West.
Hey, Nancy. And having the willingness to continue choosing, making new choices. Right in the middle of it, Nancy, so just hang on.
Okay, thank you. Well, I might have to go. The dog has a vet appointment.
Okay.
I'm going to hang on as long as I can.
All right. So we're talking about discipline and making choices to see things differently or look for things that are positive instead of complaining about the things that we maybe don't like or always looking for the things that are wrong. And that's it. To me, I have never found a shortcut. I have found a lot of tools, and I've implemented a lot of tools, but have not experienced a place where I suddenly go, okay, I know the answer, and now I'm done with all those behaviors. It never worked that way for me. And if anybody has an answer for that, God help you, and please patent it, because I haven't experienced that in my world, and I haven't met anybody who has experienced it. I've met people who have done a lot of energy work and pulling the thread, that same common thread that runs through our life, removing the energy of it. And what I have learned for myself is the behavior is still there out of habit. It's less, and maybe the emotional charge is not there behind it, but the behavior and making a new choice to be uncomfortable and to pick something that's not familiar. To learn how to love different or to view different. My second marriage, my husband was just really unhappy person. Really, really unhappy. And no matter what I did everything I could to make it different with us and to choose different. And I learned there that the happiness is an inside job, and it's my responsibility, not his, to make me happy. And that was a huge gift and lesson for me. But here's one instance where somebody wasn't willing to come along and grow with me, and we grew apart. I could focus all day long on the positive and the good thing, and if someone wasn't willing to come with me, the natural outcome by default, not because there's something wrong, is we go our separate ways. Because we no longer fit together. We no longer resonate. We may never have, but I certainly tried to do it to stay. So that comes back to what he said in this saying. People have a hard time of letting go of their suffering. Out of fear of the unknown, they prefer suffering that is familiar. We are here, so I know that you are choosing different just by being here with me on this call. And I appreciate that. Thank you very much for being here today and choosing to listen, choosing a new way to be. And I will complete right there.
Thank you, Marty. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome, Angela.
I was sitting here listening, and here comes my emotions. My husband and I, we take a trip every year, and I like to go where it's hot because I don't like the cold. And he says, honey, where do you want to go this year? And I said, well, I don't want to go back to Mexico because we've done that a few times, and I don't want to go to Hawaii because we've done that. I want to do something different, And so Park City, Utah is his original timeshare spot. And so we traded every year to do something different. And we came here 16 years ago when we first met, and that was my first trip away from home. And I remember we were talking about this on the way that I was so homesick because I had never been away from home that I cried when we got here. I wanted to go home. That was 16 years ago.
Wow.
And, yeah, we tell people that story now, and it's funny, but back then it wasn't funny because I was afraid. I had never been outside of my comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
And you were talking about how do we change our negative thoughts, you know, and when we're being, instead of being positive, you know, and so we start planning this trip, and I start looking at the weather, and I'm like, honey, this day is going to be this, and then I saw little snowflakes on the weather channel thing, and I said, oh, and it's going to be snow, and it's going to rain, and so my thoughts automatically go to, it's going to be cold, and I don't like that, right? But because I've been in this program, because I've done a lot of work around me and my behaviors and my attitudes and my choices, that discipline was change your thinking and everything else will change, right? So in looking at the weather, you know, I said, you know what, I'm going to make the best of it no matter what, rain or shine, because we're blessed, because we can get away and rejuvenate our souls and our minds and our spirits. And, you know, when I got here, I didn't expect my life to be this, right? And we're reminiscing about 16 years ago and how I've grown up. Now we get to go anywhere, and I don't cry like that anymore. Now I cry because I'm excited. Now I cry because, you know, we're sitting in a meeting and I'm enjoying the state that I'm at, no matter if it's raining or not. Yesterday it rained, and we said, you know what, today we're going to do some massages, and we're going to do a meeting, and we're going to do some self-care. Instead of waking up and being like, oh, it's raining, I don't want it, it's going to be cold, blah, blah, blah. You know, I could choose today, what am I going to think? What is my attitude going to be today? You know, and like I said, because of my growth and what I've done, the willingness to think different, today I'm grateful. You know, being able to be on this call and just listen to what you just talked about, discipline. You know, we've had to learn how to show up when we don't want to show up. You know, and that's across the board with my behavior, my attitude, my thinking, in my marriage, at work, with my family. You know, across the board, that what you just read was amazing, right? Because we could remain in chaos because that's what we're used to, or we can change that about us. And, you know, I heard that in the meeting yesterday. Somebody said, you know, they used to live in chaos, and so did I. And today, I can still live in chaos today unless I choose to change my thinking, my behavior, and my attitude. So thank you so much for sharing that reading, and I'm so grateful that I had this opportunity to get on the call. I'm on vacation. I don't got to be anywhere. I don't got to run anywhere. God's timing is always perfect, and that's why I get emotional. I'm sitting here at the table, and I'm looking out the window, and there's just beautiful mountains right across my table.
Aww.
And this I get to experience today because I'm present in my life, and I didn't have that before. So thank you.
Thank you, Angela.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you too, Marty, and Angela for her shares as well, because I came in so late. But the things I have heard are exactly what I needed to hear today, which is amazing always to me, because I'm dealing with not only with myself, but my youngest son, who's 11, is really struggling with his happiness and blaming others when he's not happy. And I'm trying to find ways to say things different and things that I can approach him with to help him see that he is ultimately responsible for his own happiness, because I did not grow up that way. I'm challenged trying to teach it to him now, because I'm learning it now on myself. And I wrote a lot. I took a lot of notes in this short time I've been on, and I will definitely be sharing some of these things with him after school. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, this is a big deal. It's a choice.
Mhm. Miss Stacy, you have any words of wisdom before we conclude?
Hey, Marty. This is Frank.
Oh, hi, Frank.
Hey. Heard a lot of good stuff. You know, I kind of want to just kind of elaborate a little bit. You and I had some dialogue in the past, and you know, I come from an environment that was conditional as well, and the people pleasing and acting a certain way around family dynamics. And you know, the people pleasing was a major defect of character that I kind of fell into, not kind of knowing, but putting conditions, and I can still fall into that today if I don't watch myself and where I'm at. And typically tying into the negative thinking, it just depends where I'm at mentally and spiritually at that time as well. But a great reminder is, you know, what we're doing here today. You know, iron sharpens iron. I need you today more so than ever. Taking additional courses outside of what I'm used to doing on a regular basis is always a plus because, you know, coming into an environment that was very dysfunctional and normal at the time, it's really hard to see the trees in the forest. You know, when I was prone to, with a certain perception on how life is and how relationships or marriages should be like. But, you know, the beautiful thing is changing that whole persona, the meeting that Angela was talking about, you know, tapping into my spiritual toolkit that I've picked up along the way, you know, me being responsible for my emotional sobriety, not depending on my wife or other people for that, but also building myself up on a day-to-day basis, because if I don't build myself up, if I don't tell myself that I am a valuable person today, no one else will. And the thing is that self-loathing and negative thinking and the poor me's never got me anywhere, you know, positive. If anything, it hindered my process. But the thing is you know, like we preach, you know, being honest of where truly I'm at and having an open mind and being willing to take the action to make those changes. And you know, so real at this point with this vacation where we're at is just kind of getting, for me, connected to God on a deeper level and not taking little things for granted, but also having a mind that is more open to seeing things differently. And I thought of your husband, Marty, because there's pictures that I want to show to him just in some of the sculptures of the rocks where we were at, seeing faces in these rocks. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And when we pause enough to, as they say, you know, to take time to smell the roses, you know, there's just so much that God's trying to teach us at a given point in time. But I just want to thank you, Marty, in particular, your heart especially. I just love what you're doing, and you know, this is where the rubber meets the road, and I'm just grateful to be a part of. And like Angela said, we're so busy when we're back home, and it was awesome that she chimed in to your meeting and you know, said, "Hey, honey, we're going to do a meeting with Marty." I was like, "Awesome!" so it worked out.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Miss Stacy, are you still there?
I think
I'm going to have to go, Marty. This is Nancy. I'm going to have to go.
Okay.
I have to get the dog to the vet. Thank you so much, Marty.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate
Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Marty?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I'm still here. I forgot I put my mute button on again.
Oh.
So I got to listen to all of it, and it was really good. And I can't talk much. I'm losing my voice very strong.
Yes.
Here. So, but there was a lot of stuff that I wrote down, especially about the grief, how it will always take you to the negative. That was an aha moment there.
Oh, good.
I look forward to talking to you more when I can talk.
Yes, ma'am. We'll do that for sure. I can tell you the grief, what helped me a lot was to be able to share it and to know I was not alone going through it.
Okay.
I did a lot of blogging about it, but it helped me a lot. You can go back and find any of my old blogs where I was writing about the grief, but it helped me most to stay in the conversation and be authentic with myself.
And I did read those as you were doing them, the ones
Yeah.
online, right? Okay.
Yep.
Maybe I'll go back and reread some.
Yeah. So yes, we'll talk offline for sure.
Okay, great. I better log off too here.
Yes, take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
I'm going to stop the recording.